morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to video message number 29.
Let's smack it in the ass.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
You gotta give him that huck and spit on that thing. You get me?
That's nice.
Listen up, the ratings just came in for last month. We are number one. We just grabbed every key demographic. Super duper. That's nice. Way to go. Neato, gang.
Yes.
Boy, that is good news.
It is the 11th day of October, 2024, and good morning to you. Good morning, everybody. My name is Chris Hockey. Welcome to your little Power Trip morning show. Yes, again, it is Friday, and about the last warm day ahead, if you consider 71 warm, which I do. 50s for highs from here on out. Let's rock and let's roll. Here's what we got today. It's it's Friday. It's the initials game, of course. I mean, let's go. My main man, Mark Pearce, coming in. How about those links, huh? Marnie Galarnar coming in, going to tell us all about her trip to the Opry. And a cast of thousands, as always. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. The bye weekend is here. I hope you got some good plans. Here's some comedy with Tommy Drake. Power Trip Morning Show on a Friday. You come on in now. I'm so glad you're here.
Everything isn't cooler now. Some things were more fun when I was little. Halloween used to be more fun. Halloween's sad now. Kids trick-or-treat in the middle of the afternoon. They only go to the houses of people that they already know. Ooh, that's spooky. When I was little, we had to face fear and earn our candy. My parents would drive me somewhere in the middle of the night, drop me off alone, make me trick-or-treat my way back to the house. I didn't know where I was, and I couldn't see out of my mask. I had to say, trick-or-treat. Do you know which way I live? They'd always put me in the same homemade costume, an all-black costume with no reflectors. I don't want to be a ninja again. Tommy, remember, ninjas are quiet. And they walk in the middle of the street. If you were lucky enough to make it home, what'd you have to do back then? Dump all your candy out on the floor. Spread it out. If anything was unwrapped or tampered with, you had to eat that right away. Because it could go bad.
I don't know how he could control his body.
The finish line is waiting. Fate is on your side. You hear the distant thunder. There's lightning in your stride.
Man, so much to talk about. You know, some days Chris and Saw, some days we flip on the mics, and I'm like, how the hell are we going to get through 3.5 hours of this trash?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, you know what? I guess I got to talk about D words or T words.
Yep.
That works too.
Yeah, so we lean on the old D jokes, but man, today is the opposite. Today we have so many sports things to talk about, life things to talk about. It's just like packed. We need 7 hours today. So today, listeners, I promise you, we actually have content.
We do.
I can't promise that every day. Today, I think that we can. And I didn't even mention that John Kreisel is part of that content.
My man.
We can talk London with John.
Good day, jolly old London town, Johnny.
Hello.
It's the best, right? London's fun, right?
200 out of 10.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
And they won.
They did.
Got a coach fired.
Yeah.
It got a little greasy.
Yeah, that's okay, though.
I had said to everyone I ran into, which was 1 million people, everywhere we went, it was, now I stand out a little bit.
No.
There was, all of Minnesota was there.
Yeah.
It was insane. And everybody loves the show. That's always the best. Yeah. It was, I told everyone, it's going to be a blowout. I should have said it should be a blowout. But
hey, a win's a win.
Yeah.
They covered, and too, there's a lot of weird variables. When we were at Ye Old Cheshire Cheese.
Yes, that was the name of the place. I told you guys we went to a cheese place.
Yep. 1536 was the year it was built, and then the Great Fire of 1666 ruined it, so it was rebuilt. But we were in the basement.
Hang on a second. There was a Great Fire in 1666?
Yeah,
they call it
great.
666?
The devil's, the number of the beast.
Yeah.
That's no accident.
No.
Chris was telling us the logistical stuff, and I mean, it is there is some adversity there. So it's a win is a win. I will take it. I think the Jets are a much more talented team than they appeared at times this year. So we'll take it. But, man, thankfully they covered. Because I was all over that one. It stayed at 2.5 all week, and they did cover.
Looked like it was setting up perfectly for Aaron Rodgers to march down and get 100%. A 1-point win.
You are correct.
That throw was awful.
Awful.
He is awful.
Yeah, he's not good
done.
anymore. Yeah.
He done.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, he's
F
not
that
good.
guy.
Their stats are very similar through 5 weeks as they were last year with Zach Wilson. That says that's Aaron Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett, who has now been demoted from play calling. So, yeah. Awesome time, though.
Why is he on the staff?
Because he's A-Rod's guy.
You know why.
I know, but I'm saying, but demoting him is you're neutering him. What's the point? Like, if Rodgers really loves him that much, just fire the guy.
Yeah, I don't think Rodgers will let you.
If you fire him, you got to pay him too.
He is remaining on staff in an undisclosed role.
Yeah, because Rodgers won't let them fire him. I guarantee
What's
it.
the undisclosed role?
You'll see when they call timeouts, he's going to run out there and give water to the players. And
Man, you know what I'd love? Some warm rolls.
Oh, yeah.
Texas butter.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what they call it?
Somebody
Texas Roadhouse butter?
The cinnamon butter?
Somebody tweeted me like a week ago and
Said,
showed me a picture of Texas Roadhouse
let's see that thing.
buns now are available at like Walmart or something.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, you can get them and make them at home.
I want somebody to do it for me.
Right, it's just like the Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits. I can get them pretty good, but they're not as good as at Red Lobster. I feel like the Roadhouse ones are a little easier to make, right? A little less to them.
Yeah.
But if they don't have that cinnamon butter,
there's no point to go on.
You think DoorDash would ever have a side service that would hire a lady with some lovely floppies to come over and make me dinner?
And what about
I said 6 minutes ago we had content.
Yeah, what about Doug's
We
dash?
lasted 6 minutes before.
If Tommy can ask about doing drop sets with his butt plug,
Oh my God! Just said it.
Wasn't that off air?
That's off air.
that's right.
He didn't say that on the air.
Drop that, scratch that, rewind it. Anyway, I thought it was a legitimate question.
Yeah. No, I'm.
Because I'd like somebody to make me those Cheddar Bay biscuits, but I ain't got the... What? What'd I say?
You
Cheddar Bay biscuits
you
anyway.
said cheddar. It
sounded like when I say Dion's son.
Because you have the cheese on the mind because of ye old. Thanks for the bottle of wine, by the way.
Oh, you got it, man. No, I was happy to see you guys. I was going, how great is my good friend Andy?
He's fantastic.
Is he not the best guy ever?
He is.
Did you guys hang out Sunday?
Yes. Yeah, we ended up at a casino called the Hippodrome. Very nice place.
It's a Sea Palace.
They treat slot machines. They don't have enough slot machines. We're going to play team slots.
Oh, hell yeah.
They are very territorial. Like someone's not at a slot machine and you go to sit there. It's the only time people were mean in London was in that building. They were assholes. Like mean. They're
Gambling
like, no,
brings that
this
out
is
of
my
people.
friend's spot. This is my friend's spot. In Vegas, you can't really save. And there's enough slot machines, it's fine. Unless it's like the Wonka, real popular ones,
we'll
whatever.
Just walk to the other one.
Yeah. And so, or we just puff up and then they move.
Right. Correct.
But yeah, it's.
What do you want to do?
So then we ended up leaving. They have a massive sports viewing room, but it was full. It was at capacity. So we couldn't get in there. So we went upstairs, did some rail whiskey shots for celebration of the Vikings victory. And then we just roamed around. It was awesome. We ended up at some place that played early 2000s hot cuts.
Hell yeah.
Baby.
Ran into so many Vikings fans from London too. And there was, after the game, there was a young man who knows more about football than any of us in the room. And he was from London. And I said, what made you choose this team?
Yeah.
And he said, How I Met Your Mother, the TV show, one of the main characters. And I said, so hold on. Part of the storyline in there is the absolute heart-wrenching devastation this team has inflicted upon, I forget the character's name. I said, and you chose that. He said, 100%. I wanted to be a part of that. And he knew. He was breaking down coverage packages, all that.
Wow, no kidding.
So, I mean, the NFL knows what they're doing by going there. This is this is huge, yeah.
Yeah, man. Fun nights.
Super fun.
Hey, before I forget, the comedian was talking about Halloween, you know?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, is your youngin' going to go trick-or-treating, do you think, or is she too old?
100% still in.
Okay, cool.
But it's the clock's ticking, though, so...
No, I know, man.
100%. Which is actually kind of good timing, right? Because it's on a Friday this year, I think?
No, Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Which means next year's Friday, year after that, Saturday, forget the leap. Maybe the leap years are going to screw that up. But my point is I think that'll just about do it. So I think the last 2 or 3 years she does it.
Yeah.
Basically weekends.
Yeah.
Kind of good timing.
That is.
And she'll wrap it up.
The comedian was talking about how it was in the old days, with trick-or-treating, how your parents would just take you and drop you off, and then they'd, meet you a half hour later at a certain part. And I had this memory that I swear to you, I can't believe. I don't know. I may not have thought of this since it happened, and it just popped into my mind, and I don't know what he said that reminded me. But my mom's the sweetest thing on earth. And for my, entire childhood, now she cusses like a trucker. But for some reason, she was against cussing when we were kids. And I can remember she took us, when I tell you I lived in the country, I lived on rural Route 47. Okay, that tells you I lived nowhere. And she took me into downtown Union City, which is like taking you into, a village, like a little house on the prairie, right? Like Walnut Grove, right? Not that big. She takes me into Union City. I'm little, probably, 5 or 6. Drops me off in Peppermint Village, one of the little, tiny neighborhoods in Union City. And says, okay, I'm going to meet you down the street here. Now, at this point, I am the biggest mommy's boy you've ever known in your life. And I don't know why this memory hit me so hard, but I think I do, actually, now that I say it. It's because it's one of the only times I ever heard my mom cuss when I was a little kid. So she drops me off, and literally, I can remember her saying, you see that down there, that street? You see that stop sign? I'm going to meet you down there. Well, I was so excited that I started running from house to house, and I got lost. Now, that's like getting lost in the hallway here, okay?
Almost impossible.
Right? Yeah, almost impossible. But so I get out to the street, and I can't remember what the street looked like she dropped me off on. I think I'm in Zimbabwe, right? I don't know where I'm at, right? And I start crying. Not crying, scream crying. Mama, right? What I didn't know is my uncle and all my cousins lived on this street. So my uncle hears somebody screaming, comes out of his garage and looks at me and goes, Chris, are you okay? And I go, oh, no, where mom is at, right? So he looks and she's in the car at the end of the street in the stop sign. And he kind of jogs down. So, Chris is down at the end of the street. Mom drives up and pulls over the side of the road right in front of me and goes, Jesus Christ, Chris.
You were like 5 or 6. Give the kid
10.
a break.
I don't know.
Or maybe 10.
Yeah, or maybe 35.
Maybe 10 just crying in the streets.
I'm standing there in the corner, surrounded by kids having the time of their life, bag full of, a half full of candy. And mom, Jesus Christ, Chris.
That's so good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Halloween's the best.
Halloween is the best.
We're getting a pub in the driveway again this year.
Of course you are. Let's roll.
One of the best holidays.
It is fun.
Nah.
Halloween memories for anybody? Top of your head, one that comes to mind where your mom cussed at you?
I mean, we were talking yesterday about the blizzard of 91.
Oh, yeah.
And
right.
that was,
Never heard of that before.
Was a trip.
Did you actually go out and trick-or-treat?
We went one house.
I'm sorry, who am I asking?
Yeah, of course.
That's one of the times my dad went out with us. Normally, he would stay back and do the candy, and my mom would go out with us. No,
Candy was your neighbor?
Probably.
A few times. Yeah. No, those were a couple other neighbors. He threw the boots to, I think. So he was pulling my sister in a toboggan, and I was trudging through the snow, and we got her done.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We'll see if Sauce's tune on Halloween changes.
No, it'll 100%
with his son. It's the best.
Man. No, it'll 100%.
Watching how excited they get it's just the best.
It's so cute.
In 2 years, if it's on a Saturday, he'll be 1.5, almost 2 years old.
Yeah,
right?
you'll put him in some cute little onesie that looks like a teddy bear, and you drag him along in a wagon. It's the best.
It'll be
and
great.
His first words will be, Dada, stop eating my candy.
Right, yeah. Dad, you're blocking out the sun. Move.
Yeah, you'll probably be at the stop sign waiting for him. Jesus Christ, PJ! Get in the car! I'm 1.5. More of the Power Trip Morning Show after this on The Fan.
Question for you guys as we come back on the Power Trip Morning Show. You guys, when's the last time you guys drove through Chicago? Been a while.
A while.
You and I did before that preseason game.
Right, that's true.
Well, you got close when you Ubered him to Milwaukee.
That's true,
Yeah.
too. Right.
10 years. Probably 2 4th of Julys ago. 10
So-
years and 6 months.
What?
10 years and 6 months.
Zach's being extremely
I
specific.
guess so. What was I doing? Thank you. So I drove to the great state of Indiana and back, and you go through Chicago, and
Do you usually go around it, or you?
I
went
normally do
for-
this.
The bypass bit.
Yeah, this time I was coming through in the middle of the night, so I knew, I wouldn't run into traffic. And there's tolls everywhere. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 tolls.
Oh boy.
And I don't. So and I got a letter in the mail saying, "Hey, you owe $39.80 for the tolls you didn't pay." I don't remember seeing a way I could have paid. You know what I mean? You know how you used to be able to slow down and throw change
That's
in?
what everybody had to do.
Yeah, right.
Slow down and throw change in the basket.
Now you just keep hauling balls through, and I knew I knew this wasn't surprised this happened to me before, but I made mental note to say, "Can I pay without?"
I think it's on the far right.
I thought that was just for trucks, though, but I bet you're right.
Where you can go do it. But
Yeah.
I think that's one of the states now. I bought the thing, or I have the thing. You can get it for free here. Our toll thing, or our HOV lanes.
Yeah, right.
They change it so it's part of the national network for like 15, 20 states.
Oh, really?
So you can do that and just switch it and drive through. So I recommend you do that if you are going to be going down there often, which you do.
Yeah.
And then here, too, if you want to be in the HOV lane and you are alone,
How
you
much
just
is that, do you know?
switch. The little sensor is free.
Oh, okay.
They'll just send it to you,
Oh.
and then you hook up your credit card, and then you're
It just pays.
You're good. Yeah.
And-
Sometimes I'm like, I don't have time for this
Yeah,
here, and I take the HOV lane. You switch it over to
That's a good idea.
yeah.
Where the
So
hell did you
I'm
get that?
almost certain. Yeah, it's
POV.com.
look up. Just say Minnesota
Easy Pass.
Easy Pass. That's it. It used to be Min Pass, and I'm almost certain Illinois is on that because we visited friends and I used it.
Thanks, dude. That's good information.
You're very welcome.
That's good information.
Good
'cause,
trip?
Oh yeah, really good. It's good to see everybody.
London, then Southern Indiana.
Other way around. I went to Indiana before I went to London, but yeah,
Oh,
it
you
was
did?
good. Yeah,
Okay.
awesome. Yeah, and they're very similar, those two.
Very.
Very.
Same kind of history.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, the first segment was brought to you by our friends at Gutter Helmet MN, gutterhelmetmn.com.
There was-
Never
See, I told you,
clean your
so
gutters
much
again.
content, we forgot to even mention the sponsor.
Gutterhelmetmn.com.
Dispute. They weren't sure that they had to re-listen to it.
Yeah,
during the break.
they were sad that Hawk's mom swore at him.
Yeah, I had it coming.
Yeah.
The Lynx won in overtime, 95-93. The biggest comeback in WNBA history, at least tied for the biggest comeback in the history of the WNBA Finals. 18 points, including 15 points down with 5:20 to go.
Man.
Which had never been done in the history of the WNBA postseason. Before last night, down 15 plus with 5 minutes to go. 0-183.
Jeez.
That's everybody, not obviously just the Lynx. That's everybody in the history of the league. But they came back, almost got screwed at the end of regulation.
Yeah.
Man.
I still don't think that was a foul.
Yeah.
The lady on television thought it was, but
I don't get it.
Yeah, I
New
know.
York.
But if you watch the replay, I thought both gals had all ball. It just looks like it's supposed to be a foul because she's getting stifled. But I thought everybody
so
got ball.
That's what you're disputing. So you weren't disputing that the clock had run out.
Well, I mean that's interesting too because I think the clock started with 1 second to go, right? And then the
I
foul
thought it was .08.
I think that was when the foul was called.
Oh, okay.
I think when they were throwing the ball in, it was 1 second, so only
Okay.
2/10 came off.
Yeah, right.
Which is insane because
That-
that's
there's
impossible.
that is
Yeah.
insane.
Right, so that seemed kind of dicey to me too. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Dramatic as hell.
But that would have been devastating to make that comeback and then have it come down
to a bad
that.
call.
And of course, I don't know basketball like I know football, but you can't just be there and then you're the only one that gets the right to that space. And then the ball comes in. It's not like a receiver where you have to give them the opportunity to get the ball. They were there also playing defense.
And both blocked it. I thought both of them blocked it.
It was,
So we were walking out of the comedy thing, which we'll get to later because everybody just killed it
God.
last
What a
night.
great night,
Awesome.
man.
God.
Awesome. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But so I get in my car and the Wild were at intermission on the fan. So I'm like, oh, wait, Lynx are on the plus. Took me like 4 minutes to figure out what the plus is. I forgot what.
107.9.
Check that. Apparently that's good time, great old.
It is.
92.1.
So then
What he said.
Then it was like 93.7 was like hard rock or something.
Was it on Sirius?
No, I checked that too. It was just Conan O'Brien
kidding.
interviewing Jim Downey.
Which is good.
So good. Anyway.
The late night host?
Yeah, so eventually, I found the plus. And I tuned in for the last, I don't know, it was like the last 9 seconds of regulation. So I got all of the drama and then caught the end of the game by the time I got home, by the end of overtime. Kind of awesome timing. But yeah, that guy was losing his mind on the plus.
Yeah.
Losing his mind about some of those final calls.
I hear he's a great dude. V-Rod works with him. And says he's a good dude, man. I haven't met him yet.
I was just happy to see Spike Lee get his heart ripped out. He drives me nuts. He drives me nuts. And there he was.
Wendell
He was like
Epps, by the way.
during the broadcast on ESPN, he's chatting with, he's like harassing the play-by-play guys at courtside, and they're acknowledging it. I'm like, get him out of there. It doesn't matter that you're a famous guy. Get away from there. You have no reason to be a part of this. It's not like they said, hey, Spike, come over here. Let's chat. Let's get your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
No, he's just being an idiot walking around.
And then I just was half listening to your story because I hadn't seen the highlights of the Wild game, but SportsCenter just played Boldy's goal last night. His no-look goal was number 3 on their top 10. That was awesome, Zachary.
Yeah.
Looking the other way and just flings it.
Yeah, great start. It was, I think, about 2 minutes left in the first period. It was looking, oh man, are we going to go whole scoreless period after they had so many chances? But then, Boldy just not even looking, and that's the best way to make a defenseman think you're going to pass, and they start to kind of inch and cheat over to try to block the pass. Opened up just enough of a lane to him to fire one in the top corner there, and get that first blood.
Lane Staley?
So back to what we had just mentioned, we had the Power Trip Comedy Night as part of the 10,000 Laughs Festival last night at the Parkway Theater, which is again a hidden gem in the Twin Cities.
Great spot.
It's a movie theater essentially that has shows, and it's awesome. And it smelled like popcorn.
Yeah, it was.
God, that was freaking great. Yeah. We had 6 people last night, 6 comedians. It was 6 for 6.
Yes.
They all slayed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cody Walker, Grant Winkles, Mike Brody, Blake Wexler, Tommy Ryman, Cy Amundsen.
I mean,
6 for 6.
I mean, Mike Brody, I've seen him before, but it's been like 10 years. The C-3PO line about his mom. I
laughed laughing.
I loved it.
Yeah, I was in the last side of the place, and you were
good.
pissing yourself.
Yeah,
great.
he was. They were all great. Brody
Crazy
was
good.
brilliant. Yeah.
Yep. I'd never seen Blake Wexler before. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Man.
It's a good night.
That was super fun.
We got to make a bigger deal of that next year.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of. No, I better not say that. Not gonna say it.
Don't say that.
Not gonna say it.
Yep.
Not gonna say it. But I am a fan of comedy, and I think.
And they were great.
It was fun, man.
And, it's cool because Cy and Tommy have been a part of this show so long. And to watch them in their natural habitat, they're just pros.
They really are.
They know the timing, the cadence, the when to pause, how long to pause. They just have like the art of stand-up comedy down.
Yeah.
They're so good.
It was great. All of them were great.
And Tommy is one of those guys. He could read the phone book and I would laugh. He just has that voice. Everything he says, I laugh at.
Stand-up comedy is fascinating to me, man.
It is.
It's the best.
Yeah. Like the first kid, did you hear Cy telling the story of...
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
So the first kid last night, Cody, wasn't he like painting Cy's house?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And had said like, hey, I really like your podcast. I've always thought about doing stand-up. That was a year ago. Yeah. And now he's hosting things around Cincinnati. He just kind of like went for it.
Yeah. He was really
for
funny.
A guy that's been doing it for a year, as I was pointing out last night. He's crazy good for a 1 year in kind of guy.
Yeah, he was great.
Man,
and
that's
he'll
a good
only
start.
get better too.
Good start.
Yeah.
Painting houses, and now he's doing stand-up comedy in Minnesota for festivals.
Yeah, he
good
was
start.
Great. Yeah, they all were great.
Man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I think I had one moment per comedian where I was wiping tears away.
Yeah.
Man, I was laughing hard. That was awesome.
Good turnout.
You kept punching yourself in the balls. Though.
Yeah, you're into that.
Which is really weird.
Normally I don't tear up, though. I'm kind of immune to it by this point.
Yeah, it was a good turnout, and I think we'll make a bigger deal of it next year.
Yeah, it was good.
I want to blow it up, man. That's fun.
That was fun. I don't want to outgrow that theater, though. That theater's awesome.
That theater's great.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
How many could it hold?
I think it's 250-ish, I think it holds. Something like, I don't know the exact number. It's something like that.
It's a great spot.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Super fun.
I like laughing.
All right, let's come back and do front page sports because there are so many sports to talk about. The WNBA Finals, the Wild season starting. Sauce and Kreisel got their wish. We'll lead with that after this Power Trip Morning Show on the Fan.
The Power Hour begins at 8 a.m. You can watch it at KFAN.com/watch. It's powered by Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed.
All right, so Mr. Z next segment to talk about some movies. Charch Challenge. Marnie will be here. Parrish will be here. Initials at 8:15 with $75,500 up for grabs.
Wow.
That's nuts. Thanks to St. Paul Federal Credit Union.
No, these are nuts.
Now look at those things.
Wow.
Probably pay
Thanks for pulling those
$75,500
out.
for those.
King size, man. Outside the tree that those came from. Jesus.
Wow. Do you need help putting them back?
Calm down, Zach.
I'm trying to gentleman.
I'm trying to...
Legitimate question. Helping out.
Speaking of jackpots, not that it's 75.5. I had an Uber driver in Scotland because he's a huge poker guy, so we had a long ride about poker, and my girls wanted to jump out of the Uber. But he was just telling me about gambling in Europe, and he said there are maximums on slot machine jackpots across England. I think he said it was $10,000 is the max.
Would have been nice to find out.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to sit down.
But that's why he said he flies to Vegas about 4 times a year because he's like, hundreds of thousands or millions in those slot machines. He's like, it's a 10K max here. I'm like, what? And casinos close. Right? Like sometimes 3 in the morning. What kind of casinos close?
Yeah, no,
24 hours a day, baby. We got gambling to do. We got gambling to do. You can't tell me to go home.
That was one of the most beautiful casinos I've ever been in. It sucked, though. The employees sucked.
It's the worst, dude.
It was awful.
I have a significant gambling problem, and I do not gamble when I go out of the country.
That's smart.
I don't.
Just no fun.
I don't think there's the rules like there are here. I don't think that they have to give you a certain
payout
amount of
minimums.
Yeah. I've never even won a little bit back. You walk in, you put your money in the slot, and somebody kicks you in the nuts.
Yeah, this was years ago when you were gambling.
There was a kid that Andy knew that showed up, and he was hammered. I didn't know him.
Yeah.
And then the bartender acted like the rest of us. And listen, there are times back in the day when I'd get wild. I'm 43.
What?
I'm way more chill now. I got treated for being at in the same zip code as this guy. Like I was a monster. It was ridiculous.
Way to go, Andy.
He just was super hammered.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It wasn't like he just was where it's the annoying hammered.
Yeah.
But he was over there. He was far away. And I even tipped the bartender 10 pounds. I wish I could take it back.
Yeah.
I was like, just so we're clear, he's not with us.
Right.
And then the guy treated me after tipping him like I was some monster. So after that, I was like,
and a 10-pound tip is about a $13 tip?
Yeah.
And I also have to say the drinks, I didn't get it. Maybe I was just too tired. I couldn't even get a buzz. I don't know if when they pour you drinks, there's
water.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Ice and water.
It's London, man. Big old town, right?
I think because they get so out of control with their
beer?
soccer and they
Love
fight.
their beer. Oh, yeah, I know. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, front page sports because I want to make your day.
Front page sports.
Let's go.
Presented by Holiday Station.
Let's go.
Holiday Station stores, they have that $4 meal deal for a limited time. Enjoy any breakfast sandwich, hash brown, and medium coffee, or even a 16-ounce Monster Energy drink for just $4. Only for a limited time at Holiday, the $4 meal deal. Start your day with Holiday. You guys don't need any energy drinks. You don't need any cocaine, any uppers.
All right, well,
you're high on life.
Let us speak for ourselves.
You're high on life because even though it's far from over, the Minnesota Twins are up for sale.
Let's go!
Yes!
The poll ads announced that they are looking into selling the Minnesota Twins. They are estimated to be worth somewhere between $1.5 and $2 billion, depending on who you ask. The Twins, not the poll ads. The poll ads bought the Twins for $44 million in 1984.
Yeah.
Only 3 other franchises have been under the same ownership longer than the Twins. That's the Yankees, White Sox, and Phillies.
Yeah.
That's it. 40 years of the poll ads. So
I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't
when
either.
Sauce texted me yesterday. Oh my God.
Corey and I were walking out of work together, and I saw it on my phone. I was like, is this real? And it was.
I don't tweet during work. I tweeted.
Yeah.
I was like, this is This is the greatest day in Minnesota sports since the World War II.
Yeah, remember how great that day was?
Yeah, remember that?
Too much time at the Churchill Museum when I was there. But
yeah, listen to the Hulkster.
Truly, and that's how sad our sports existence has been besides the World Series championships. These owners have been embarrassing. They had their chance last year. Now I know why. Like, if someone buys your house, you're not going to remodel the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I didn't see this coming. I thought it never would happen. They have other business ventures, but I felt like this was kind of their cash cow. And, of course, a lot of people, well, this doesn't mean the new ownership group is going to be better. Well, let's take a shot.
Yeah,
let's
correct.
see, because it can't get any worse.
It cannot.
And especially the thing that pisses me off, having been in the legislature, having been part of stadium negotiations and all that stuff, when an ownership group comes to the public, when there's so many needs of the public, infrastructure and everything else, it is a huge deal to give hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars to a billionaire or billionaires to build a stadium. And they said, we need this to compete. For a couple of years, they raised the payroll to be sort of where it should be for this market, and then they dropped it again. So they robbed the community. They did. They truly did. They lied to everyone's faces, and then last year, I think, was the straw that broke the camel's back. So I'm so happy right now.
And I think the other thing, too, though, to John's point is, I also think they realize, and I know when you're going to put something of this value for sale, it isn't just one decision. But I would bet the tipping point is they realized they cannot recover from the PR nightmare that they put on, that they have. And we've been over this 30,000 times. You make the playoffs and then you immediately say you're going to cut payroll. At the trade deadline, you have a shot. You're 17 games or whatever it is above 500. You make no moves. And then the only move you make is a guy who leads the league in wild pitches. You don't sign anybody. You don't bring anybody in to better that team, and they completely collapse. They realize that they have a PR nightmare on their hands that they just can't recover from. And I think a great breakdown of this is the Gleeman and the Geek podcast. I think it'll take about 6 months, and they'll find somebody that will buy it within 6 months. So they'll probably own it by the start. There are plenty of people, not plenty, but there are enough people with billions of dollars that'll buy this.
There are plenty. There have never been more billionaires ever than there are now. Teams don't come up for sale, especially Major League Baseball teams, very often. This team will sell, and I hope that group, and like we've said a million times, I don't think this market is expecting them to spend like the Mets, the Dodgers, the Yankees, anything like that. But if your team is a couple players within a deep playoff run,
correct,
son of a bitch, go get somebody. It's it's the only major professional sports league that you can actually just go get somebody.
Yep.
It's mind-blowing. And so now I went from, I'm getting rid of my small ticket package that I get.
Yeah.
I'm keeping it.
Yeah, you probably should.
Unless they don't sell it. Then
I think they have
to make the decision before then. So
I think they have
to. They do
to.
have to. Yeah,
they'll sell it.
And it shows.
Well, but they don't have to by the start of next season. That's John's point. Yeah. They could look into it, and it might take a while, right? Because they might. I just said some of the people are estimating that they could sell between 1.5 and 2 billion. Well, what if the 1.5 is not the number they want? What if they want $2+ billion and they can't find somebody?
Somebody overpays.
Well, I don't know if it's that easy anymore.
It might not be that easy anymore.
I think 10 years ago it would have been. But this TV contract stuff is a major concern among a lot of people in the industry in terms of the viability of professional sports moving forward. I've read articles about ESPN possibly not valuing Major League Baseball like they used to because they're putting so much of their money into the NBA moving forward. As well as other things. So
that's what's going to bring ESPN down. They don't have extra money because they've overspent on the NBA while those ratings have plummeted. But this, I think the biggest problem when it comes to the TV issue for a not penny pinching, stingy ass ownership group, you rip the Band-Aid off right away. You can, if you're willing to make a little bit of an investment, which we know that this ownership group is not willing to do, in your own type of TV deal or you just go along with the MLB one, at first there will be a little bit of pain, and then you will start making your money back once it grows legs. So it just.
I hope so. I mean, but the problem is this is uncharted territory.
It is.
Pro sports got rich off of people that never watch pro sports.
Yep.
And now that the people who aren't watching pro sports aren't paying for cable and satellite, now it's going to be, are the fans willing to pony it up? Because we talked about it just a few days ago. $20 a month is going to be probably the start of an increase to 25, 30 and beyond. Are fans willing to pay that to watch the team, and also willing to still go to the games and fund these salaries that these pro athletes are making? Because I wonder at some point if payrolls across the entire Major League Baseball are going to go down at some point, because something's going to have to break here.
Potentially. MLB needs to get some type of a salary cap for it to be fair, because the big markets will always flourish. It's going to be the middle markets like the Twins that are going to suffer, at least in the short term, because of the TV deal, the lack of TV deal. But the new ownership group, I'm guessing, see, the Pohlads don't appear to be, with their other ventures, to be very smart businessmen. They don't. It's true. They don't.
You're right.
They don't.
Yeah,
So
they've sold four of them.
You get some of these new billionaires that understand that if you spend money, you will make money. They're going to be fine. And then in the short term, if you just have a top third or middle of the road payroll, this team would have won the division this year.
Yes.
Or at least had a shot. They would be in the playoffs, or would have been in the playoffs. So that is my hope. I've never been more optimistic about the future of the Twins. I'm happy for all of the employees at One Twins Way, because now they're not going to have to be making excuses for these cheapskates anymore.
Well said, John.
Mr. Z, when we come back, we'll talk some film briefly.
Saturday Night
The
Live,
Charch.
man.
Oh, is that what that
That's
movie?
this weekend. Comes out last night. Yep.
Is that right?
Can't wait.
We'll do the Charch Challenge in like 20 minutes. Marnie will be here in a little bit. Parrish in a little bit. This is the Power Trim Morning Show on the Fan.
Don't miss your chance to see the Flop, Sweat, and Tears tour. It's over. This time we mean it. When it hits the road, see Common, Sauce, and Larry Mondello Guy at the Chart House in Lakeville.
Is this a joke?
On Wednesday, October 23rd. Caller Hawk, you got a number?
Yeah, I sure do.
Which caller number should we take?
3.
Caller 3.
Might be the only we get.
I was going to say,
I was going to go bigger than that, but
Yeah, but I don't
let's
think we'll
be
get more
realistic.
than that.
3's probably pretty fair.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to win a pair of tickets if you're caller 3. That includes dinner.
Wow.
Featuring Briano's famous spaghetti and
Scatty.
meat sauce.
Oh, spaghetti.
Oh, I see. I get the
I get
Did
it.
there?
Courtesy of the Chart House. Mick
Please be cool.
Sterling Presents and KFAN. 1-800-320-5326. Good luck.
Very smart, by the way, on the
Promoter.
for sure. To basically say, we're not sure if tickets are enough. Let's give spaghetti away as well.
Do you want meat
Because
sauce
they-
in your mouth?
Oh,
Be
what
the
is-
third caller.
Is this a joke?
How good is Sketty Hawk?
It's the best in the world.
I love Sketty.
I love Scatty.
This is the last tour? Last one, huh?
This time he means it. That's
Yeah,
a good bit,
this
by the
time
way.
I
like
mean
that
it.
a
Oh,
lot.
this is it.
We had some
thank you.
good Italian food over there.
Oh, yeah, Andy said he took you to an Italian place, yeah.
Yep, and then we went to another one for my birthday at Jacuzzi, it was called.
How go jacuzzi?
Yeah, and it was awesome. Super good.
You don't care.
You don't care.
So good.
What's going to tell you? It doesn't matter. Anyway, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I like food. Food's good.
Food's
Yeah,
great.
food's good, man. Food's
All right,
good.
so are movies. Movies are good.
Movies are good.
Mr. Z joins the Power Trip Morning Show most Fridays around this time to talk all things film. Hi, Mr. Z.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey.
Since the last time I talked to you, Joker Folie à Deux is just plummeting. What is it, down to 33% on your favorite websites? Everybody hates it. Everybody's saying, I don't understand why this movie was even made. Where do we go from here? What do we do with Joker moving forward? Is it over?
Well, a couple of them. Yes, after the screening, when I was on, I think we talked, I don't really know. That was kind of my reaction. After I screened it, I said, I don't get it. Because I like Todd Phillips. I love Joker. The music, it just, every time you would maybe start to get into the movie, they'd do a song, but not like a cool, wicked musical song, but like a Frank Sinatra song for 3.5 minutes, and then you'd be like, okay, and I'm going to start getting into the movie, and then 5 minutes later they would do another full song, and I don't really know whether the movie's any good or not. No way to know because you never really got to watch the movie. So, but one thing, there's sort of a misconception I think about this Joker movie. It's not a DC movie. It's not a comic movie. It never was. When you go to the movie, there's not the DC logo at the front of the movie. It's kind of a standalone picture. It was supposed to be a standalone picture that really wasn't going to fit into any mythology or anything, and it worked. And so they kind of said, hey, let's do it again. They gave Todd Phillips free range and a bunch of money, and he did something weird and that he thought was good, and it wasn't. Completely going to unaffect any real Batman movie, if you know what I mean, with quote unquotes around real. So, as far as Todd Phillips' world is done, and it always was going to be done.
Okay. I know Chris has a question in a second, but I want to get to the one that I heard Ben Maller's show talking about a couple of hours ago. I've never gotten into like the really, really gross horror movies, right, where people are getting dismembered and whatever, like the Saw films. I can't get into those, but
Rosie,
the trailer for Terrifier, all of them have just been disgusting. Now Terrifier 3 is out, 77% on Rotten Tomatoes. It just looks unnerving. I mean, I know there's a niche of people that get into this, but man, that looks like just unwatchable stuff. But people like it, I guess.
Yeah, Terrifier 3 comes out this week. We're kind of a cool story. Terrifier 3 isn't from a studio. It's basically self-distributed. I mean, it's not Warner. It's not Universal. It's nothing. Terrifier was made on a guy who, indie horror filmmaker, gathered together, $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 and made Terrifier for him and his friends and, whatever you might do for art, not for, just because he wanted to be fun. It kind of got some buzz, played some festivals, and then Dread Central, did some TV stuff. And what happened was it started giving this weird buzz just among the hardcore horror fans. So Terrifier 2 they made, and they moved up the budget, $200,000, ended up doing a few $1 million in theaters, became even a bigger deal. And now Terrifier 3, which still isn't a studio, isn't even rated. They didn't want to pay the money to MPA to get a rating because they knew what it was going to be anyway. It wasn't going to be R. And they spent like $2 million on it this time. And if this movie does $25 million this weekend, which it probably will, maybe, I have no idea, impossible to predict. That number is going to mean more than $80 million on Twister. I mean, that's to be self-distributed, hard R horror movie. To do $25 million would be a huge success for people in the indie world. So, as far as the movie itself, the difference between Terrifier 3 and, like, let's say a Saw, sometimes you go to, I love horror movies. Sometimes you go to a horror movie that's just too real. I mean, it's just like, this is getting too close. It's not fun anymore. It's just making me not feel well. I don't count Terrifiers in those films because it's Art the Clown. It's so over the top that you can't really take it seriously. So yeah, basically the director has decided, let's see how far we can go with the gore. But also, it's a Christmas, it's Art the Clown dressed up as Santa Claus cutting you up with chainsaws. So, so as far as whether you like the movie or not, probably not. Those of you, the people, if there's two people out there, one person has never heard of this movie, has no idea what I'm talking about. The other person is going, come on, idiot, we all know what Terrifier is. and so there's this little group of people that, last night it opened they didn't do 7 o'clock. They waited till 8 o'clock to do the break, and it did business. So really cool success story. Absolutely not for kids, and not for people who kind of don't get the joke. Now, here's the weird thing: Art the Clown is such a gross character, but funny sort of. If you go to Spirit Halloween, you can get an Art the Clown costume. They have Art the Clown is everywhere at Spirit, so it's hitting the mainstream. He's basically Freddy. When Nightmare on Elm Street came out, Freddy was not funny. And now he's, kids dress up as him for Halloween, 10-year-olds do. But originally he was a pretty scary character.
That's a scary concept, man. Somebody can go in your dreams.
That one got close for me as a young man. I was a little, that one got too much like I don't want to watch this because I might have bad dreams. That actually can scare me. I'm not scared of Art the Clown, but a guy that come in your dreams, that's kind of scary.
Whoa. I had a question from a lovely listener by the name of Beth. Hi, Beth. We Live in Time. Do you know that movie?
Oh, yeah, I do. I'm going to first off apologize because the only thing I know about it is I know how it's being distributed. It's coming out. It's not going super wide. They're picking their markets wisely, and that's all I can say. But yes, I'm familiar with the movie.
Okay, cool. We'll ask you about it some other time. Then let me ask you.
Yeah, that would be great.
Let me ask you about the Saturday Night Live movie because I'm super excited to see it. But I've read good things about it. But I've also read that if you're not a big Saturday Night Live fan, like if you're not an obsessive Saturday Night Live fan, you're not going to care. Am I right? Does that seem right to you?
Well, I'll reiterate. When I was on, I maybe jumped the gun a week or two ago when we talked about it. But what I said was, if you have a passing knowledge of who John Belushi is and who Jane Curtin is, yes, you're gonna. Then it's not a problem. If when those characters go on screen, you have no idea that, like, you don't even know what their personalities might be like. It isn't as meaningful. But most people do. But yeah, if like my kids, they wouldn't. They would probably think it was fine, but they wouldn't know why. So having a passing knowledge of who Lorne Michaels is. If you don't know who Lorne Michaels is, I don't know, maybe it doesn't mean as much. So
and it's about one day, like the first episode, right? The whole thing is one day, like real time or something.
I think one of the reasons I liked it, I try to remove my personal opinions because nobody really cares what I personally think, but they want to know what they'll think of it. But the movie's kind of set in real time, and if you've ever had the fortune of kind of being part of a production, being backstage, even in a community theater, any sort of, even probably, Chris, even in music or whatever, where you have an hour and a half to curtain, and you don't know if you're going to pull it off. If there's some people who aren't there, there's something's not working, and the clock is ticking towards curtain, and the crowd's coming in, and if you've ever been on that, so the behind the curtain, this movie kind of brings that out because it's like, it's not truly in real time. There's not a ticking clock, but it's basically in real time for about the 90 minutes to 2 hours leading up to curtain on the very first live Saturday Night Live. And that part of it is geniusly well done.
Can't wait to see it. I'm looking forward to seeing that. That'll be good.
Cool. Thanks, Mr. Z. Appreciate it, man.
Love you.
Hey, guys. Talk later. Bye-bye.
Just to your doggy.
The trailer for Terrifier 3.
I just watched
in
it
the
on
first
mute.
30 seconds. There's two people hooking up in a shower, right? The old, like the 80s horror cliche. They're hooking up in the shower, which means
they're going to die.
He hammers through a chainsaw and looks like he cuts him up immediately. You can't hook up in a horror movie. That's a death sentence.
Sometimes the boots have to be thrown.
Yeah, well, then your head's going to get lopped off. That's a guarantee.
I can't believe he said that's for kids. It doesn't look anything like it is for kids.
So anyway, if you've already seen Wild Robot, make sure you get out and take the kids to see Terrifier 3 this weekend.
Yeah, with
Quote,
Art the Clown.
Mr.
How
Z.
sweet.
Yeah.
Mr. Z says, go see it.
Yeah, go see it.
Go see it.
Hi, Mark Parrish.
Hi, Corey Cove.
What's up, buddy?
Hi, good to see you, my friend.
Finished eating.
Oh,
it was perfect timing.
Thank you,
Good seeing you
for
guys.
bringing food in all the time. Appreciate it very
Absolutely. Oh,
much.
Hawk, love you guys.
Yeah, I love you, man.
Thank
You know I love you. I kiss you around the mouth.
Your mic's on.
Hey, guys, since we're talking about gross things, can I give you guys a story real quick?
Please.
I'm reading it. I'm learning about this as I'm reading it to you, so I haven't pre-read this, but the headline is enough for me. 18 treated for severe nausea in Stuttgart after opera of live sex and piercing.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Of course, the next few shows are now sold out because of stories like this.
Mr. Z says this is also for children.
Yeah. He says, go to the matinee.
18 theater goers at Stuttgart's State Opera required medical attention for severe nausea over the weekend after watching a performance that included live piercing, unsimulated sexual intercourse, which is also called sex,
What?
and copious amounts of fake and real blood.
Oh, Jesus.
Boy, I have a joke.
So real blood.
Please don't.
I'm not gonna go for it, but I'm just gonna
Sauce,
say.
do you have a joke?
No.
If they could have waited a week,
Yeah. I was trying to
I know.
think about, but
Yeah.
I think you did it perfect.
Thank
That
you.
What was
really
pierced?
She was.
I mean, how gross can it be if the piercing is part of the nausea? What are they getting pierced?
We haven't seen
cutter?
the actors either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right,
Very
all right,
true.
all right. On Saturday we had 8, and on Sunday we had 10 people who had to be looked at after our visitors, or by our visitors service. This dude,
People are so weird.
Floritina
And I'm
Holzinger, is known for freewheeling performances that blur the line between dance, theater, and vaudeville. Her all-female, that's a lady, her all-female cast typically performs partially or fully naked. In previous shows have included live sword swallowing.
Not a euphemism.
Yeah, how do you do that with all ladies, though?
The Lexcalibur.
Brilliant. Hawk's favorite hotel.
Yeah, there's some sword swallowing going on at the tattooing and action paintings with blood and fresh excrement.
Oh, fresh. Thank
excrement.
God.
Yeah.
You don't want that to turn bad.
Your dad's
Who
interested.
brought me this excrement? This is at least a day old.
Sauce, you say you stick to expiration dates.
Yeah, I do.
You're a stickler for the rules.
I am.
Good technique in dance to me is not just someone who can do a perfect tendu, but also someone who can urinate on cue, said Holzinger. I got to meet this lady.
That is one hell of a line right there.
I'm going to say this.
Is R. Kelly out of jail?
With all due respect, I want to rephrase what I just said because I think this is apropos. I got to meet this broad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have some questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
She's probably running for office.
Is this where PA has been?
Oh, he was on vacation. I'll tell you what, Rosie ain't gone home yet either, has he?
Yeah, and Charch might be live for when this is taking place.
I can't believe I said fresh excrement and you didn't say a word.
Not a word.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sancta, Holzinger's first foray into opera, premiered at the Mecklenburg State Theater in May. Her original opera told the story of a young nun who, aroused by a tale told by one of the nunnery's older women, steps onto the altar naked and rips the loincloth from Christ's torso. Oh, my God.
My Lord.
What?
Go on.
Is this a Manson concert?
An encounter with a large spider leads her to repent her action and beg the other nuns to wall her up alive.
What is happening?
Count on my Christo.
Counting something. Anyway, let's see. The Austrian artist has previously suggested that her opera was less designed to mock the church than to explore parallels between the conservative institution on the one hand and kink communities on the other.
Yeah, I can
get
see
it.
that.
That's what I thought. When I read that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought kink communities, the church, let's talk.
Yeah. Wow.
I even snapped my fingers.
What's your kink, Corey?
Well, my kink is kink shaming. I like to make fun of other people's kinks, and then I get turned on.
Yeah.
Right? Other people are gross. See, it's already working.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay.
People are selling it out too, boy. They want to watch people pierce themselves.
Yeah, apparently they bit off more than they can chew, or at least 8 of them, then 10 of them.
Oof.
Ooh.
Ooh, greasy.
Let's do the Charch challenge when we come back.
Oh, yeah. That's right. We got to do that. I need some fresh excrement
Look,
in
man,
here.
I saved the group last week. And I got a little lucky. I didn't know. I almost did take Jordan Love, but I took Lamar and kept everybody in this thing. So sure, I had a monster week, but man, if Chris had Lamar, a lot of us would have been toast.
Down about 50 if he has Lamar.
God.
With 10 weeks to go, it's you need a mathematical miracle. Most of us, if Chris would have had Lamar Jackson, we dodged a bullet last week. So let's all get back in this thing with Paul Charchi, and after this on the Fan.
Hey, Rubes, this football season, Bell Bank is giving one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Just head on over to KFAN.com, make the keyword contest, learn more, and enter today. That's KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Zago, thank you. I want we say this all the time because they're the sponsor now for .com Tom Pelissero. And we say the pay it forward thing, and we read it in Vibes, and it's cool. But I don't think we should take a moment to acknowledge it. That's how we know Bell Bank at all. Do you remember the story, Corey?
Of course.
Yeah.
So they have this pay it forward program, John. And they give each of their employees $1,000 to give to whatever charity they want, right? Well, we had a listener in here. We'd never met him before. He was in here. I think he won like a charity thing where he came in. And he's sitting over there. And we had a listener come in, Jabus, and was saying... he needed a new handy van because his van wasn't doing real well for him. And he needed one, right? Yep. Remember? Dude goes back to work, talks to all his fellow employees. They put all their money together and help buy him a van.
That's
This is the craziest thing ever.
Corey cried.
I'm about to cry
Not
right
true.
now. He did cry, though. He shut his nuts in the cabinet drawer.
That is true, but it had nothing to do with Javis
Completely,
getting the van.
Yeah. But from that moment to now, it's been a great relationship with Bell. So when we say it every week, you get a chance to nominate any charity you want. Just by putting their name in and saying, here's what they do. And one person each week, their charity is going to get $1,000 for free from Bell Bank. So they don't have to do that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
That's
I love
awesome.
It. It's a good
amazing.
company. Really,
Great
really good company. Love them. I do all my banking with Bell Bank and some of my smooching.
The rest of your smooching is with Paul Charchian.
Ain't that the truth?
Charch joins us every Friday for the Charch Challenge. It's been going on for a decade or something like that.
Hasn't been that long.
It's got to be close. Yeah. Something like that. Hi, Charch.
I haven't got him down.
I think Hawk lost the first 5.
No.
Yeah.
Felt like
5?
more.
Yeah.
I lost a bunch too, but I think I've lost it 4 times, 3 times, 4 times. I forget.
I think you lost control of your bowels.
Yeah, you did.
Charch, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Are you echoing now?
No, I am not.
Woo!
Oh, now I am.
Okay.
Oh,
now you're not?
Now I'm still hearing myself back.
No, how about now?
Now I am not. Thank you. All right, we got there. Yeah.
Looky here.
Fantastic.
How many other shows you go on across the country, Charch, on a weekly basis have to do a 10-second echo check? Are we the only one?
Yeah, you are the only one, but Chris is a good kisser, so it's all worth it.
It's worth it.
You know what?
Thank you so much. Does have the tongue of a cat though, which is you wouldn't think.
Listen, I react to your breathing.
I have some exfoliating I need to.
Right.
Chris can help you with that.
Yeah, I sure can.
All right, let's go around the world here with Paul Charch, and let's start with the obvious. I'm going to assume no Friday football feast because of the bye week.
That is correct.
Okay, so let's start there. No Friday football feast today. Number 2.
Russo will be in, I believe, talking through the Wild's game 1 win.
There we go. Talk about.
Let's kill with a little time with this. We haven't talked video games with you much this Charch Challenge season. And look, the holidays are sneaking up on us. And my main question is, I can't name one major release that's about to be unmasked in the next couple of months. What am I missing? What's supposed to be big this holiday season?
We've got a new Call of Duty, right?
But that's every year.
That's every year. We've got a Tomb Raider game coming called The Legend of Lara Croft. For those people that are still connected to Tomb Raider. It's kind of got stylized graphics. It's reviewed pretty darn well. And so I know that's coming around the corner. PlayStation Pro is just releasing now. You're getting the pre-orders now. That's going to come out soon-ish and well before Christmas. So if you want like the souped-up PlayStation Pro, that's available. $700 though. I don't know. I mean, that's for me not worth it. But I think there are people out there that always want the biggest, the best, the fastest. 8K TV support. That kind of stuff. The PlayStation Pro might make sense for people for whom $700 is not a lot of money.
Yeah, Charch, what do you know about the new Nintendo Switch?
They haven't told us much of anything yet, but everybody knows it's coming. The time frame is believed to be next year. Almost certainly will be a handheld again because that's obviously they hit the exact right market with that. Some people are, what we're not sure about yet is whether or not they'll even bother with the TV connectivity of it. But the presumption is that it will have an HDMI port. You will be able to hook it up to the TV, but overwhelmingly usage on the Switch is not docked. It's a handheld. I think I speak for everybody who's ever played a Switch. When all we want is something that is powerful enough that we can play like Call of Duty on it. Right? I mean, at some point, just give me something that is, it doesn't have to be as fast as a PlayStation, but can we be in the ballpark so I can play a lot of the same games that I love on my TV console on my handheld?
Yeah, I think you have to have it with TV connectivity because
you love docking for sure.
Big docker.
But I mean,
especially last week.
But like Zelda on a big screen is sick, and Mario Kart. If you have people that some of us still like to play video games with other people. And,
not you.
Right. But Mario Kart on the Switch is fine. It's so much better on a giant screen.
Yep.
Yeah. Some of us,
and there are a lot of games that you play on the Switch, and you think it's a good game, and you think you're enjoying it. Then you dock it and throw it on a big TV, and you're like, "What? This is way better," and you forget.
Yeah.
But still, that's not how most people use it.
No. All right. That's weird. All right. Charch Challenge. We got a little lucky last week. Chris almost had Lamar Jackson fall right into his lap. Lamar had 32 points. Could have had closer to 40, right? He had so many late opportunities. to actually run that score up even more. But I got lucky. I got Lamar Jackson, and that extends my lead. I have 97, but Chris is the ghost and is in second with 75. Kreisel, you have 59. So already Hawk has a 16-point lead on the rest of the field. Zach has 56. Sauce had a monster first week and has sucked since.
I have, yeah.
You have 55.
What a mess.
And Mark Parrish has 51 points.
I'm in the 50s. All right, yeah. Purdy didn't do much for me last week there.
No, kind of in the middle, right? You had 15 points. Hawk had 16, so you only lost one. But again, at this point, you can't afford to have a lot of weeks where you're losing ground to the ghost.
Yeah, it's been every week.
Corey, real quick, I'm sorry. Did the 49ers win?
Last night they did, yeah.
By enough for me to win money?
Yeah,
they won. It was more than two. Yeah,
they won by...
Spread was 2.5 or 3.5.
They won by... What did they win by? 12. They won by 12.
Okay.
They had a late touchdown.
Okay.
Yep.
I think I had bets. Anyway, go. I'm sorry.
I owe you $50.
Yeah, Purdy had kind of an off game.
You owe me at 5,000 though.
Purdy didn't play that well. Just 255, 3 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 129.3.
He played fine. They're 3-3.
He's fine. Yeah, fine.
They're 3-3 though.
Just a 129.3. No big deal.
He had some throws last night that were.
What's their record?
He's a killer.
3-3.
Yeah. Okay. He's great.
You sound like you think he's fresh excrement.
Their defense is the problem.
Well, yeah, their defense is the problem.
Charge challenge.
Come on,
Let's
Chargy.
go.
Let's
what do we
do
got?
it. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. These are tier 2 wide receivers. So we're taking the likes of CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson and Nico Collins and A.J. Brown off the board. These are kind of the next level of guys that are all very good. They're number 1 receivers on their team, and they've got nice opportunities this week. We begin with Chicago wide receiver DJ Moore. He's hosting Jacksonville. This is the London game. Jaguars have allowed the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing receivers and the 2nd most yards. And Moore's become a huge part of the Chicago offense, averaging 8 targets per game. Next is Arizona wide receiver Marvin Harrison at Green Bay. Harrison has been boom or bust this year, but this looks like a boom opportunity. Kansas City is bottom 7 in yards, touchdowns, and fantasy points allowed to wide receivers.
You mean the Packers or Kansas City? Who are they playing?
Did I
KC's
say
on the bye,
Kansas
right?
City?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
But it's Green Bay.
Yeah.
Green Bay. I don't know why I would do that other than the fact that it is 6:52. Green Bay is bottom 7 in yards, touchdowns, and fantasy points allowed to wide receivers. Tampa Bay wide receiver Chris Godwin is at New Orleans. Godwin's been a focal point of the Bucs offense, ranking 3rd in receptions. The Saints are a good pass defense, except in the slot where Godwin plays. They've allowed big games to other slot receivers like CeeDee Lamb, Ray McLeod, and last week even Juju Smith-Schuster lit him up, all of them running primarily from the slot. Next, Washington wide receiver Terry McLaurin at Baltimore. McLaurin has exploded over the past 3 weeks thanks to the lightning-fast development of Jaden Daniels. The normally stout Ravens secondary has been a disaster this year, allowing the 4th most yards and 2nd most touchdowns to wide receivers. Your next receiver is Atlanta wideout Drake London at Carolina. The Panthers have allowed the 2nd most touchdowns to wide receivers, and every opposing team has had a wide receiver touchdown against them. London has scored in 3 of the past 4 games, including his monstrous 12-catch, 154-yard performance last week. And lastly, Green Bay wide receiver Jaden Reed hosting Arizona. In Green Bay's non-Malik Willis games, Jaden Reed is averaging 118 receiving yards and 18 rushing yards and 1 score per game. Cardinals secondary is somewhat improved over last year, but remains susceptible, having allowed big games over the last 3 weeks to Amon-Ra St. Brown, Terry McLaurin, and Brandon Ayuk.
All right, Charch's options this week: DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison, Chris Godwin, Terry McLaurin, Drake London, Jaden Reed. Zacho has a wheel that he spins. The order is randomized, and the wheel is spinning. The first pick this week goes to John Kreisel.
Let's go DJ Moore.
Interesting.
DJ Moore is my number 3 ranked receiver this week.
Interesting.
Look, every week is different. These are human beings. There's variables. But man, Chris, I think you were the one that said it when we got back from the London game. Yeah, Darnold and Rodgers both just, I don't know. Like there's something about the travel that makes me nervous about big offensive performances.
And I have to say, it's the game time start, too. I know that sounds ridiculous, I think, but you could just feel a sluggishness to both those teams.
That it's 8:30 in the morning for them still.
And you've been up since 4:30 or 5:30, you know?
Charch, is there anything statistical to that London games don't put out a lot of offense? Is that accurate, or is that just in our heads?
It's in your heads. I don't believe that is accurate.
Okay.
With the Vikings, the previous time the Vikings went to London, it was the Saints, and it was, in the 30s, that Saints kicker missed a 50-something yarder at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Jets and the Vikings are just two really, really good defenses.
All right, fair enough.
Well, crap.
Pick number 2 goes to,
Come on, man.
that looks like Parrish.
Oh my! Oh jeepers!
Mark Parrish. Let's go.
I don't know why, but I just like the McLaren.
I'm going Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin. All right.
Yeah.
My number 6 ranked wide receiver
sweet.
this week.
Yep, continue to kill it, Parrish.
So you'll do great.
That is my year. I'm literally going to look awesome.
Jaden Daniels is awesome, though. You got a shot.
Good,
That's why I like.
You definitely have a shot.
Pick 3.
These are all good players in good spots.
Sure. Pick 3 goes to Sauce.
I will take
A dump.
A fresh one.
Yeah, why
Thank you.
not?
I'll take Drake London against the worst team in football.
That's who I wanted to.
Crap.
I wanted Drake London as well. The only concern for you is that it's a blowout and the game is just a handoff fest in the second half.
Scores in the blowout.
Right, scores in the first half. That's what you got to hope for.
My second pick is
Drake
still
London, it was my number 1 option.
Yep, that's who I wanted to. Good call.
My number 2 option still there. Come on.
Coin
Come on
flip
now.
was terrible.
Zachary Halverson goes pick 4.
I'm going to go Marvin Harrison.
Damn it!
Yep. All right.
Marvin Harrison, option number 5 for me this week.
Okay. All right. Final pick between Chris and I again. And it's me again. This is exactly like last week. Now I have to save the group again. Oh, great.
Save us, Daddy.
It's a lot of pressure.
Chris Godwin had a big game for me a handful of weeks ago. I'm going to roll with it again and just see if he can keep it going. I'm going to go Godwin for the second time this year.
I don't mind
That's
getting
my number 4 option.
I
That
don't mind
leaves the
getting
ghost
Jordan
with
Reed.
what? Jaden Reed,
Jaden
right?
Reed.
Jaden,
Yep.
whatever his name is.
Yeah, I liked him.
I don't
Number 2
mind.
option, heavily involved in that offense. Yeah.
Don't mind that a bit.
Gives you a little rushing upside. Mm-hmm.
Again, that's the second week in a row. I get the last pick.
Yeah.
I'll take
and
it.
you're killing it.
Thank you.
I wish I got the last pick more.
Yeah. It happens. All right, Charch. Anything else you'd like to throw out? GuillotineLeagues.com. What do you need?
Yeah, just go play in a guillotine league. Still making new leagues. It's still 13 weeks left in the season. It's free to play with your friends. You can join a prized leagues if you want to pay to play. So
The best way to
tons
play
of fun.
It is the best way to play. For
It's
sure.
not even
Thank you.
close.
Thank
And
you,
I'm
friends.
still alive in both of mine.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
Charchie, can you slow down football season?
Yeah, correct.
I can't believe how
too
quickly
fast.
it's going, man.
You shut up.
Boy, you talk dirty to me.
Yeah, he was.
I just,
Just me.
you know what I like.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Charch.
friends. Talk to you next week. Bye.
You're the best, Charch.
Paul Charchian. All right, we'll go through the news in a second. Marnie should be here shortly. Parrish is here. We'll ask him about the big Wild season kickoff last night. Cy Amundsen on his way in. He's going to play initials with us at 8:15
I
as
didn't
well.
know that. Did you say that?
What? No, it was a variable based on his, health and stuff. Cy's a wild card. You never know. He's got
wild card,
an autoimmune
all right.
disease. You never know.
And a huge penis.
Yeah,
Huge.
he
That
showed
was-
us all last night.
Did he really?
Yeah, you missed it.
Oh, I shouldn't have left so early.
It's hard to miss. I almost tripped.
The Power Trip Morning Show returns after this on the Fan.